Hey, what's up? I'm back again. Well, making another video. Didn't think I'd be making this one, but my sister actually came on short notice last night. We didn't have an opportunity to kind of straighten things up, and now I'm having to clean up behind her. And what I'd like to talk about in this video, I like to title it Not Feeling at Home, okay? And ever since that fire a week ago tomorrow, I have just felt even less at home in this stupid apartment. And she actually agreed that she wouldn't like living here. There are just so many buildings that it's like a maze. And the more I read about how, because this place was built in the 70s, which doesn't make me sleep very well at night, it was built before I ever existed. And they weren't required to have fire sprinklers. There was just no way they were going to put them in here. And I was just, researching so much about fires and apartments and how buildings without fire sprinklers are considered a high fire risk for obvious reasons. And it just doesn't make me sleep very well at night. I already didn't like living here to begin with. And a part of me just wishes I could go get a U-Haul and just throw all my stuff in there and just dump it off at my mom's and have a garage sale. I mean, that is how sick I am of living here. You hear that? Little children yelling at each other in Spanish, okay? That is what I have to live with. And it just makes me so angry. It's just infuriating to me that I'm supposed to be okay with this. And the most frustrating part of all is that my dad did not need this stupid apartment or the one that he had before, which was even worse. It was a one bed on the second floor, which, I guess the only silver lining is that, at least we're on the ground floor, where hopefully if there was a fire, we'd have a better chance of getting out, because as I've explained before, they tend to burn from the top down, for the simple reason that heat rises. Here they are crying in Spanish, having tantrums in Spanish, and it's just so frustrating because it's like, it's just so annoying, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm clearly in the minority over here. And among the younger generation, the few white people tend to be mostly male, and they're mostly boomers or older people. They're guys that basically left their wives, discarded them after they gave them children in the best years of their lives, just like my dad. And I just want to talk about how I just don't feel at home here. And, he wonders why I want to go stay with my mom, even though she basically forces me to wear makeup. And I can't make videos, which neither one of them know about. She basically imposes herself on me in ways that neither he nor my sister would ever tolerate. My sister hasn't had any contact with her in over 5 years. It's going to be 6 years in January. And that really creates a wedge between us, an awkwardness that I can't explain. She's just so different from me that I just really can't. It's like, I just want to have a sister, I don't want to make her mad and, make her stop talking to me and stop coming to see us. But it's just so hard on me, when she's rejected the one person that did the most for her. Just like my dad. He's just rejected his wife, and yet he still wants to have a home-cooked meal most of the time, and he still wants to live to be an old person. He'll never think he's old enough. It's just something that it's just very hard on me, because it's like I would prefer to be with my mother, regardless of whatever she does when I'm there. I don't really care. You know, she wants to make me wear lipstick and clothes like hers. And you know what I'm saying? It's like she's embarrassed and ashamed of me, you know, just being who I am, you know, just being the way, you know, just dressing the way that I want to. But you know, it's better than living over here in a high risk apartment. They could go up in flames any minute. You know, I've just been researching it because that's what happens. I become obsessed with things. And ever since that fire, it's like I've been obsessed with, you know, what more could they do to make apartments safer? And the reality is they don't care. You know, it's just all about the money. You know, as long as they're getting rent money, you know, they honestly do not give a crap how safe or unsafe the apartments really are. And, you know, it's very depressing, but the 70s are now getting to be a half century ago. You know, so they're just going to keep renting out these 50-year-old apartments, you know, repainting them and making them look cosmetically better for each new resident. But they will not, you know, demolish them and rebuild them in a safer way, because that would cost too much money. But, you know, I just don't feel at home. And I got through with a shower for the first time in 2 days, I think. Yeah. I've gotten to the point where, you know, my mom would be appalled with this. The way I'm bathing or showering only every other day, or maybe not every other day, but maybe 4 or 5 times a week. You know, not the 7 baths a week that I have at her house. And the reason, well, especially when something like this happens, is because I genuinely don't feel safe. I don't feel, you know, this doesn't feel like a home to me. You know, I don't feel like, I feel like my body odor is wonderful, you know, in comparison to the negative thoughts I have associated with bathing and showering in this stupid apartment. And that's what my dad doesn't understand. You know, he tells me I'm paranoid and I need to get over it and stop, you know, going outside every time I hear a noise, you know, like I need to get over it. You know, people aren't just running around with cigarette lighters trying to light the place on fire. But, you know, I just do not feel like, this doesn't feel like a home to me. It feels like a literal POS apartment. You know, the bathroom is so small that it's like you're in a prison cell, if not even more claustrophobic. And it's so small and hard to get out of that I don't want to take a sit-down bath because, well, it's hard to explain, but I'm just so afraid, you know, that a fire could break out while I'm in the bathtub. And I'd have a hard time getting out and putting my clothes on. And I don't really like to take a shower because I have to have a shower chair. I hope I don't slip in such a way that I can't catch myself on it. So showering is a chore. You know, it is definitely a chore, unlike at my mom's house where I feel like I can actually relax. So I don't do it. And because I do not have body odor, I don't care what anybody says. My body odor does not gross me out. You know, I am a virginal female, not a disgusting male, you know, and I would take my body odor any day of the week over male body odor. And that's why it makes me so angry, this idea that, you know, getting on testosterone and becoming excessively hairy and smelly and prone to acne and losing my hair would solve my problems. Well, no, it would just add more problems to my life. It wouldn't solve anything. And I know that. And I do not want to pass for male or live as a male. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to present as something I'm not or something that isn't true to me, I'd rather go back and live with my mom and sell everything that I have pretty much in a garage sale and just wear makeup that I don't actually want to wear, just to save her embarrassment, you know, so that I don't embarrass her in public by not looking as good as she does. So, it's just really, it doesn't feel like a home to me, you know? I mean, my dad is just, I don't know what's the matter with him. It's like he's just always had this mindset. You know, my mom wants to be a queen. You know, she's always thought that she should have been a queen or something. You know, nothing was too good for her. Then, I mean, you know, my dad is at the other end of the spectrum, and it's almost like he feels like he doesn't deserve any better than the bare minimum accommodations. You know what I'm saying? All he cares about is just having a chair to come home to and a TV to put on and a hog nest of a bed to sleep in. And he doesn't give a crap, literally. I mean, if they would pay for an extended stay motel, you know, at a job, he would work there and have no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't care. Anything is good. It's almost like he feels like he doesn't deserve any better. You know, like his truck. You know, I mean, he's paid for my car to be detailed once a year. And I'm like, why don't you get your truck done? You know, why don't you just take your truck in and have the same thing done? Nah, that's all right. So it's like, it's almost like he doesn't want better. You know, he doesn't think he deserves any better than a filthy truck and a disgusting apartment that's a dump, you know, that's a high fire risk. And it's like he doesn't want to better himself. And he's always felt that way. And it's just so frustrating. You know, they lived in an apartment, you know, when they first got married, before I was ever born. My parents did. And that's probably around the same time that they built this apartment, for all I know. They lived in an apartment. And if my mom would have been okay with it, he'd have lived in that, you know, to this day, I guess. He'd have never thought that he should have better or that they should build a house if it wouldn't have been for my mom. And it's like that with a lot of marriages. You know, the man would be totally content in an apartment so that he wouldn't have to cut grass. You know, and he's always telling me, well, you know, if something breaks, you just call maintenance, and there is value in that. And it's infuriating because it shows no pride of ownership. You know, no standards, no class. And I just feel like my mom could have done so much better, that I deserve so much better, and that I'd much rather be with my mom.